You know what the cliche for scary movies in January, especially the scary movie on the first weekend of January? That they always suck! Scream 5 is the new Scream movie, or just Scream. Some people call it Scream 2022. Directed by Matt Bernelli and Tyler Gillett. These are the two directors that did Ready or Not. This movie brings back Neve Campbell as Cindy Prescott, David Arquette as Dewey, and Gale Weathers is back, played by Courtney Cox. A young girl gets attacked by a man in a ghost face. And once the word gets out that the person that tried to kill this girl was a Ghostface, this brings back Cindy Prescott, Gale Weathers, and Dewey in order to try to solve who is the new Ghostface killers, or killers. There's always two killers, except for Scream 3. There was only one killer in Scream 3. And try to protect our new characters from the new Ghostface. And that's pretty much our movie. Now, this movie introduces a new main character for particularly this movie, and for this quote requel, which is a reboot of a soft reboot of a franchise, right? Bringing back the three remaining original characters and introducing new characters. Our main character is Samantha Carpenter, played by Melissa Barrera from In the Heights. She was the leading lady in that movie, and her sister is the one that gets attacked, and apparently she and her friends are the other targets for these Ghostface killers. So we have our three legacy characters trying to protect the new characters. And some of these new characters are trying to be like the new Richie, the new Jamie Kennedy character, but none of these characters that are trying to be like the new Richie have the charisma of Jamie Kennedy. So there's a big problem with it, with this movie, and I really couldn't get invested with any of these new characters. I got perfectly invested with the legacy characters, of course, because I've been connected to the legacy characters for 4 movies. But I can't get invested with these new characters at all. I didn't really care about any of them. They felt like generic horror characters that you've seen in any horror movie. I did like how this movie does a commentary on toxic fan base and on requels. Like Star Wars 7 would be considered a requel, or a reboot, a requel. I suppose you can consider Ghostbusters Afterlife a requel in its own way too, even though that was a good requel. But I really didn't like this movie. I didn't find this movie to be that scary. I didn't really like the villain, the antagonists in this movie. I didn't like any of the protagonist characters except for our 3 legacy characters. And the 3 legacy characters are not even in this movie enough to really get me invested in the fact that they are back. They're in the movie, but they're not in the movie enough, really, except for maybe Dewey. I think he gets the most screen time. Gale Weathers and Cindy Prescott, they don't get enough screen time. They do get some screen time, but it doesn't feel like it's enough, really. So overall, this is really not a good Scream movie, and really not a good horror movie overall in general. Just like any horror movie in the beginning of January, the first weekend of January, it stinks. Makes me wonder why it got a high critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and why it got a high audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Why so many of the critics that I liked it, except for John Flickinger and Angry Joe. Those are the only 2 that actually agreed with me and said that this was not a good movie. And it's not a good movie. So overall, bad movie. Don't see it. I'm going to give this movie a D. And that's all I got to say for Scream 5.